Good day, YouTube. Today's topic is, do you know where your money goes? The answer should be yes. Before I do that, I just want to let you know that next week I'm going to Washington, D.C. for 3.5 days. I'm going to the Pentagon. So it'll be my second time there, but I'll be there for 3 days. And we're also going to get a tour of the Capitol, inside of the Capitol, which I'm excited. I'll film whatever I can because some of those portions I can't. So whatever I can film, I'll share with you in the future. Two things that I want to talk about real quick is the first thing is tomorrow marks 20 years of marriage between my wife and I. And I'm very happy about that just because it's been a challenge. It's been a lot of celebrations as well. Marriage is a great thing. Make it work. Hopefully that's the case for you. Second thing is, I just want to thank anybody who's ever watched any of my videos. I have 1,000 subscribers. It's taken me over 2 years. I appreciate anybody who's watched the video, even if you didn't like the topic, but thank you for watching. So, do you know where your money goes? The answer should be yes. If the answer is no, go ahead and adjust. Make a change to find out how much money you're coming in, whether you're a civilian or military. Track it with the bad word, budget. That's going to paint your picture of where you are with your finances. Once you have your budget, do you like it? Do you want to improve anything? Are you good to go? The key thing is balance. I love to spend money, but there has to be a balance. You have to have an emergency fund, of course, your goal fund for a vacation, and I'll talk about that in just a moment as well. Whatever it is that you want to spend money. So those are some of the things. Do you live paycheck to paycheck? I used to live paycheck to paycheck when I was in my early 20s. And then I was embarrassed when I got married and I didn't have a lot of money or any money, so I had to make some changes. I don't live paycheck to paycheck and I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. So we have to be deliberate with our finances. You don't have to be a financial wizard, just be solid with the foundation, the basics. Have a solid foundation of the basics and you should be good to go. You build yourself up. There are many financial experts out there, personalities. One of them is Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey has a YouTube channel. If you've never heard of the guy, check him out. There was a phone call that he received within the last week. And it was a young lady, 22 years old, and she has $5,000 worth of payday loans. And he asked her, what's the money for? Because she's a student and she works part-time. And she said that she likes to shop. Well, that's the thing. There's nothing wrong with shopping, but if you don't have the money, you shouldn't borrow the money. You can. That's just not a good thing to do. Speaking from experience, when I was young, I used to do that. But the thing about a payday lender is, what's the interest rate from a payday lender or a payday loan? So that is not a good thing. Hopefully it's good that she called Dave Ramsey. He gave her some advice. Hopefully she can turn the page with her finances. We as consumers have many options. And I'm going to be a little bit scatterbrained in this video because there's a lot of things that I want to talk about. And it's just basic financial information. Some of it are experiences that I've seen or experienced myself or heard of. But we as consumers have a lot of options. I was at Walmart over the weekend. I needed windshield fluid for the vehicles, 3 cars, my wife, my daughter, myself. I wanted to replenish that. I needed crazy glue. I also needed light bulbs and a pouch for this camera. This is a brand new camera here that I bought from my wife because my previous camera, in the latest videos, I don't know if you can see a little dot. So I didn't like that. It was in the videos, time for a new camera. I was at Walmart and they had whatever I wanted, but I could not find crazy glue. And that's the primary reason that I was at Walmart. For some reason, they didn't have it. So I thought to myself, right next door, there is a dollar store. So I'm going to see if they have it there. I'm going to put this stuff back. At the dollar store, I bought crazy glue, windshield fluid for $1, big containers. I also needed light bulbs. I got that. I spent $6, whereas Walmart, even though they have good prices, I would have spent minimum $12 or more, depending on what the prices were. But I spent $6. I also got a chocolate bar out of that. My point is, we have options. Where is your money going? Do you overspend in certain areas? And I began by saying that I do like to spend money a lot. I like to travel. With our anniversary being tomorrow, I told my wife that in September of this year, I'd like to take her to an island, somewhere where there's a beach. It's just going to be her and I vacationing and doing something because our children are going to be grown. Our daughter's going off to school in August. So the month after, I'd like to take her to maybe the Bahamas, St. Thomas, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, I'm not sure. So my point is this, with the, went blank, the vacation. I'm going to start putting money aside now. So whenever we decide where we want to go, we already pay up front. No interest. So that's a good thing. It takes planning, being proactive with our finances. This camera that I bought here, my other camera was no longer working the way I wanted it to. So I asked my wife, hey, you have an extra camera that you bought within the last year. Are you interested in selling it? And the reason I asked her was because she's not using it. She has a better camera, but this is a good camera. It meets my needs. And she said, yes, I'll just let you have it. I said, no, I want to buy one. I have the money. So either I buy yours if you want to sell it, or I'm going to go to the BX where it's tax-free, and there's already a camera that I want. So you let me know what you want. She said, how about 175? I said, how about 150? She said, are you sure? I was like, okay. So I got it for 150. Consumers, we are consumers, and we can actually be picky about what we want and what we don't want. So if you're single or married, who does the finances? If you're married, is it you? Is it your spouse? If you're single, it's just you. I'm not going to say that one is better than the other, but you have to be proactive with your finances. So where does your money go? Do you know how much is left over after every paycheck, or are you living paycheck to paycheck? Or do you know how much is left over after you've paid all of your bills? Some of you, it's going to be a lot of money left over, which is great. My favorite thing when I was a financial customer was speaking with young individuals who had money invested, had money to spend, to take a vacation, no debt. Debt is a four-letter word, a bad word, in my opinion. It's just one of those things that I've been in debt. Luckily, the amount of debt that I had when I first joined the Air Force was $1,000. And it seemed like a lot of money. How am I going to pay this debt? How many accounts do I have? Is it going to take a year? Is it going to take 2 years? Got out of debt. Don't want to go back to being in debt. Two things that I have debt right now is my own mortgage and one car. I could pay off that car right now cash, but the reason I don't do that is because my daughter's going off to school, and it would come from her school fund, which is not the intention of that account. Money is just a tool. What is your fear when it comes to money? I think a lot of us, or most of us, have fears about money. Do you know what my fear would be when it comes to money? Is winning the lottery. Why? I have seen people or heard of people, whether it's on the internet or on the news or on TV shows, who won the lottery, and 3 years later, 4 or 5 years later, they were broke and miserable. Money doesn't buy happiness, in my opinion. That's what I think. But it makes life easier. With that said, money is important in all of our lives, regardless if we're young, old, rich, or poor. It is a tool. So how are we going to use that tool in our lives for the rest of our lives? Are we going to be proactive? Are we going to fear it? The good news is that I will not win the lottery because I don't buy lottery tickets. What is your fear when it comes to money? So going back to that first question, where does your money go? That's the question that I want you to think about. Now, you don't have to answer me with a response saying, here's the answer you asked. I ask a lot of questions because I want people to think about things that I think about sometimes. And some of you are doing financially great, which is good. Continue to do that. Share your story, your techniques with others. However, if you're not, maybe just pay attention to a video like this or somebody else's video or an article, and what do you want to do different? How can you adjust so you are financially stable and eventually financially successful? That's what I talked about. There is a topic that I want to talk about in the near future. This will be a message to teenagers. It's going to be a message that I wished someone would have shared with me when I was a teenager, because if they would have shared that with me and I would have listened, I could have been completely ahead of the game. The good news is life is about making adjustments. I made a lot of adjustments. I've watched people succeed. I've watched people fail. I've made mental notes and I've adjusted. That's what the topic's about today. I hope you enjoyed it. One thing that I'm always curious about is, where are you right now watching this video? What city are you in? Because I'd like to know if I've been there before, or if it's a place that I've wanted to go, or if it's overseas outside of the US. You take care, have an idea, and have an answer to where your money goes. Have a good day.